Okay, so this is going to be my short guide on how to properly do signals in OpenTTD. Um, so we're going to start off with a quick tutorial on basically just how signals work at their most basic. Then we're going to go into some basic station design using signals. And then we're going to proceed on to some slightly more advanced station design. Um, and then after that we're going to proceed on to some simple networking between stations with these types of signals. And then finally on to some slightly more advanced networking between some slightly more advanced stations. So one of the questions that you might be asking is, hey, wave of babies, I already am able to get my trains moving. I'm able to get more than one train on a track at a time. I'm feeling pretty good about the way that my trains are going. And that's fine. If you are cool with that, if you don't really want to be proceeding on and advancing, or if you just enjoy playing the game that way, that's fine. Go for it. But there's a lot to learn about signals, and there's a whole lot to them. And it's really, really rewarding once you actually do get to the point where you can use signals effectively. So they've got advantages over, like, what most people usually just use are these path-based signals. And essentially what a path-based signal does is it looks on the tracks between it and the next signal, and it checks to see whether or not it can find a safe path for the train that's trying to get past it to get to where it wants to go. So basically it just checks to see if that train has a path that it can go on without crashing. If we had infinite computing power, I'd recommend to use these, but the issue is that we don't, and you'll run into issues where quite often, like, the Reddit servers will get really, really, really CPU intensive. And that usually has a lot to do with the fact that people are using path-based signals almost exclusively. And if you do want to reduce the load on the CPU, one of the best things you can do is minimize how much you're using path-based signals. Every once in a while, it's fine to throw them in, but if your entire network is based just off of path-based signals, you'll be bringing the server down to a crawl. Additionally, you can get a lot of fine control out of using these four guys right here. So let's go over the basic signals really quickly. This is just your basic signal right here, friendly old guy. This with the horizontal yellow line is your entry signal. This is your exit signal with the vertical gray line. And this is a combo signal with vertical yellow line. And I'll go ahead and zoom on in and go over what they do. So you've got regular signals right here. Now, what happens with a signal is a train will go up to the signal, and if it's red, it will stop at the tile before it, and if it's green, it will continue on. Now, what makes a signal red is whether or not there is a train between that signal and the next signal on the tracks. Including, if there's a train on the tile between that signal and the next signal on the track, including those tiles that the signals are on. So you can see here, there is a train on top of this signal, so it's red. And you can see that this signal additionally is red because train's right there. It's on the tile for the next signal, so this guy's going to be red. So moving on, we have an entrance signal right here. Just one entrance signal followed by a regular signal followed by a regular signal. Now, entrance signals are different because they're going to be red if they're going to be red either if there's a train between them and the next signal, including the tiles that the signals are on, or if the signal behind it is an exit and it is not green. So if there are any exits on the tiles behind, or on the tracks rather, behind an entrance, then if none of those exits are green, then that entry signal is going to be red. So easiest way to show that is just to explain it. So right here it's green because there's nothing here. There are no trains between this signal and the next one, including the tiles that it's on. But right here you can see with the entry plus exit signal that the entry is red because it's got a red exit signal right here. Now exit signals behave exactly the same way as other signals, except that they can trigger entry signals to be read. And you can also see right here, so first off, once again, entry signal is read because in the block of tracks behind it, there is a red exit signal. So you can also see that even if we connect it to a green regular signal, then it's going to still be red. And that's because there are exit signals that it can reach behind it, and that exit signal is red. There are no green exit signals. But if we decide to change this one to an exit signal that is green, all of a sudden this guy decides to turn green. So once again, non-green exit signal, or no green exit signals behind an entrance signal, it's red. Green exit signal behind an entrance signal, it's green. And finally, we have the combo signal. So you can see here, combo signal is acting exactly like the exit signal. It's triggering this entrance signal right here to be red. Now a combo signal acts, sorry, let me just step back a second. We've got an exit signal, combo signal, and an entrance signal right here. So exit signal is red, combo signal is red, and entrance signal is red. So it's acting exactly like this exit signal right here in the way that it's triggering this entrance signal to be red. But the reason that it's called a combo signal is because it acts exactly like an entrance signal as well. So you can see when I'm going to change it to an entrance signal, it will also be red. So not only does it trigger entrance signals to be red, it also gets triggered by exit signals and combo signals to be red. And similarly, actually, I'm not sure. Didn't test this out. This will either be green or red, but no, it's red. Just like the entrance signal, it's gonna be red again. And again, if you make an exit, then it's cool. It's gonna be green. So that's your basic signals for these trains. So moving on to some basic station design. This is called a terminus station because they terminate, they stop right here, and then they got to turn around and go back. Now what we've got here is just really basic design. You got an entrance signal and then two exit signals. And these exit signals are facing both ways, and I'll explain in a second why I've got them like that instead of just facing one way. Now, your train's going to come through. It's going to see that this entrance is green. It's going to see that both these exits are green, and it's going to go to this part of the station that is closest. So it's just going to, first train's just going to end up in there. And let's actually go ahead and send a train to do just that. Go to there. So we're going to send our little choo-choo fella. Green light. Goes on in just fine. And hold on right there. Okay, so we got one train in this part of the station. And this signal right here is red. But the entrance is still green. So you can probably guess what's going to happen once we send the next train, which is blah, blah, blah. Speed it up a little bit. He's going to go in here, see that that's green, see that that's red, not continue on, go over there, go in there, and then hang out. And now you can see, because both of the exit signals behind the entrance is red, the entrance is red. So let's go ahead and, just for good measure, send one more. Make sure that he's going here. And no matter how hard he tries, poor little guy can't get in because the entrance signal is green. Oh, that's a shame. Alright, well, I'm just going to send this fella out now. No. Nah, dog. Delete. Just go ahead and head on out. So he's going to exit, continue. Nah, hold on. Sorry about that. So now I'm going to send him back to the depot, and voila, because he's now gone, that guy can go in. So that's your basic station, as it were. Now, this right here is a, I believe, RoRo station, or roll in, roll out, you know, keeping up with the lingo. So what happens here is if either of these slots is taken, or whichever slot is taken will return its respective exit signal red. So if this slot's taken, that exit signal is red. This slot's taken, that exit signal is red. Just like over here. But you need to put regular signals right here and right here. Otherwise, these won't be green until the train is all the way past here, assuming we don't have this signal as well. So just make sure you put signals here so that the exits understand that it's just these blocks of track, like just the station blocks that you're representing with these exit signals, or at least that you're keeping track of with these exit signals. Similarly to the terminus station, we have an entrance signal right here. So if we send some trains, go there, and let me make 2 more. Go ahead, buddy. Little guy. Alright, so first fella's going to go in, sees it's a green light, sees that it's a green light. Good job. Well done, sir. Next one goes in, sees it's a red light, so he goes into the second one. Blingo blammo, he's there. And train number 18, unsurprisingly, just like with this guy, he has to stop right there. Poor little fella. So yeah, that's how this works. Now, moving on to something slightly more complicated, and in my opinion, significantly better. This is a roll-in, roll-out station with extra space for trains that can't fit. So whereas this station right here has a capacity of 2 before trains have to start clogging up the main line with waiting, this station right here has a capacity of 4 before trains have to start clogging up the main line waiting. Now it's 3 blocks of reserve space because trains are 3 blocks long, ideally. I know the ones I'm throwing out here are not, they're just an engine, but because the station is 3 blocks long, you want it to be able to take the station's length in trains, if you're going to be having room for reserve trains. So let's go ahead and send them here. Make a couple more. Tell them to go ahead and go, and we're just going to let them go and tell them to stop once they get in there. So as you can see, first one goes in, stops, other one goes to the next one. That dude heads on into the waiting area, and then finally train number 4, waiting area. Entrance is red, both exits are red, 4 trains waiting without clogging up the main line. Everyone's happy. Alright, so moving on to a slightly more complicated, again, station. This one right here actually does use combo signals. Now you could get away without using these combo signals, and I'll show you what happens if you were to. Hold on, let me just delete that guy, tell you to go here, make another. If anyone's curious how I'm copying, I just click clone train and then hold down control and then click on one of the trains. If you hold down control, it'll put them in the same group, which means that when you give orders to one of them, it'll give orders to the other. Now he needs to stop right here, and you need to stop right there. Okay, so we got 2 dudes in there right now. Now without those combo signals, when we make 2 new trains, and let me just make those guys really quick. Now when we make 2 new trains, when they go in here, the second train is going to have to wait right here before he's actually able to go, because you can see right here it's red. So homeboy here, even though he's got a clear route to get over here, can't go because it's red. Whereas if we were to throw in some combo signals and additionally throw in a way for these trains to get back to, yeah, we'll send it back on the loop. Man, these are bad corners. Anyway, Sorry, I should have gotten this set up beforehand. But I wanted to get the video out quick. Then go there. So now, they're all going to go ahead and head out. So let's just go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Wait, no, you can go. Oh boy. So can you. And you can notice right here, this is why it's important to have signals spaced every 2 blocks. This dude's stopping right here because he's all the way over there, which I won't personally stand for. So I'm going to build a whole bunch of signals there. And what we're going to be doing is waiting and watching for these 3 trains. Mostly. Okay. Cool. That should do it for signals. And just for good measure, we're going to clone that train just to make sure that we've got enough trains to accurately show this off. So you can see here, Homeboy's going in right side. Right combo signal is off, but he can go in because we got those combo signals setting it up. He can go in as well, even though he's not all the way in the station. They can go in. Combo signals, what they do is essentially just make it so that trains can be more than one train can be entering the station at a time. So there you go. So this guy right here, I actually don't have enough money in this save just because I threw it together. Look at that. That's how I'm making money. I don't have enough money to actually build enough trains to show off how to do this. So I won't really spend too much time on this, but using signals you can create more and more and more complex different stations. Now you won't get the actual throughput to fill this out just off of one track. This is the sort of station you would want to have 2 or 3 tracks leading up to, feeding trains into it. But it does show off what sort of stuff you can do with combos. You'll have first trains going on this track, second trains go in over here, third over here, or they might go down here and then branch off into there, or go down here and then branch off into there. There's a lot that will happen, and these sorts of designs are really important to do and to understand if you want to be making really high capacity networks. So moving on to the final part of this, I know this is getting a little bit long. This is a basic network right here. So we have 2 roll-in, roll-out stations, no combo signals. Here's an entry signal and 2 exits, and then again entry signal, 2 exits, and I've just got tracks connecting them together, and it's a really simple network, nothing too complicated about it. And yeah, like you can see, Homeboy's gonna go in there, load on up. And if we get lucky, yep, exit signal is still red, and that train's going to go in there. Just like we saw in the examples, in practice, it works. And moving on, finally, to the final set of stations, and the final little bit of a network that I'll show off. This right here, the only difference between this and the previous network is that it's a little bit bigger. These stations are 3 wide, which I only made just so I could show off using some combo signals. And additionally, I'm using a standard of trains drive on the right side, which I think is really helpful. Unless you're English, this will be helpful for you. And even if you are English, drive on the right. It makes sense. So we have all the train signals set up so that trains will drive on the right side of the track. So you can see this dude is driving on the right hand side of the track. There aren't any trains coming this way, but if we fast forward it, look at that, driving on the right side of the track. Love it. It's great. Just makes it really easy to do, so that if I want to, for example, add on another station, excuse me, over here, but I don't want to take the time to actually draw from these tracks first to get over there. I can do all my station design, like drawing tracks and shit everywhere, and then eventually connect them out to some other tracks. So I can say I eventually want the tracks to meet up here, and I know that my signaling is drive on the right side, so I can just set it up so that these signals are going to be driving on the right side. Simple stuff. And like this type of stuff right here, it's really It's not something that you'd necessarily think of doing. It's really simple, but it's something that really, really helps, and it makes it a whole lot easier to manage everything that you have to manage in this game, and to develop your networks further and just make them bigger without running into issues. I mean, like, I find that the number one thing that makes it difficult for me to actually make tracks is when I get those two sides swapped. And I was assuming that trains would be entering on this one side when it turns out that because of the way that I've laid out my network, they need to be entering on the other side. So it's really helpful if you keep that drive on the right side mantra alive. And also, I mean, like, it's better than having trains driving like in both directions, because you can't have, with tracks like this, you can't have a train driving up the left side and a train driving up the right side without having some sort of crash or having both trains stop. So it's good to, I think, create a circuit, as it were, and drive on the right side. I think that's about it. If you do have any questions, do feel free to message me on YouTube, and I believe that I've got the same name on Reddit as I do on YouTube. I think it's just like flagbearer223, but message me on YouTube if you would like. I'm on the Reddit servers every once in a while, but moreover, there's a really good resource, the OpenTTD co-op wiki. Just Google OpenTTD co-op. Those guys are geniuses. I've learned everything that I know about OpenTTD from them, and they'll be able to teach you a lot. So I'd recommend thoroughly going to check out their wiki, going to make sure that you spend some time just reading through the different things that they have in there, and you'll learn a lot. And if you have liked this video, then let me know, and I'll be sure to make some more advanced ones if anyone would be curious about that. And if there's anything that you think I could do to improve, please just let me know, and I'll do my best to do that. But for now, thank you for watching, and have fun OpenTTDing.